ISTJs! What do we think about them? You shall find out right now.
I love it. I was like, so T.
So TE?
I know.
Yeah. I too can TE.
Okay guys, so we'll talk about what we think of ISTJs and also what our socionics relationships are with ISTJs and if we agree with that. So I find ISTJs quirky, I think. I don't know, there's something about the SINE axis that maybe I find quirky. Also, they have the kind of TE, like, dryness. They have this very sharp, kind of witty or, like, even dry humor sometimes, and can be quite, like, observant and quite, like, precise with their observations or their insights. They also can be quite fun and kind of goofy and even, like, a little bit bubbly when their NE comes up a bit.
Yeah, definitely dry wit. I think it's just high SI tends to have a good grasp of language. Yeah, like precise, like you said. Very precise grasp of language. And then I think having inferior NE, it also makes them value kind of being creative and quirky and goofy.
Yeah.
They're really traditional-ish, but then having like that NE down low, they do all these quirky things in a very confined manner. Like an ENFP might be like, you know, traveling and doing all sorts of weird quirky things, but then ISTJ will have like a daily routine, but then like think about like The Office, like going that show, like going to the office every day, but then doing something weird and kooky during your lunch break every day. You know, you've been having like a schedule for your kooky behavior. I met this guy once, and he was an ISTJ, and he seems like so down to earth, like so down to earth and responsible. And then he was saying like, do you ever think about just going to the airport and buying the first ticket you see, and then going on that airplane? I'm like, no, I never think about these things. Sometimes I do it, but I don't think about it.
Usually they're super knowledgeable as high SI users. They usually have depths of very specific information, and they usually can analyze things from like multiple angles, usually very articulate and come off as like very intelligent. Just their manner of speaking usually.
Right, yeah.
And I want to say this, I want to say more so than INTJs, the SJs in particular have like maybe the worst reputation in terms of like the portraits that you'll find of each MBTI type like on online sites, and I think they come off as way more intelligent and way more articulate than INTJs do. And I think the reverse stereotype is true, that the INTJs are the more intellectual ones and the ISTJs are like boring and like have nothing of value to say, which is like not true.
I kind of agree with that. Like, yeah, I would say the ISTJ is probably more articulate. INTJ is probably more mysterious.
Yeah. And usually the tertiary FI kind of comes out a bit with the ISTJ when you get to know them, or when they kind of like let their walls down a bit. And it's usually what drives them or like what inspires them. So they do have that kind of well-developed feeling side and have that kind of almost like a little INFP inside them motivating them.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I think they're called the duty fulfillers or something stupid like that in MBTI like terminology, but they're really fiercely independent because like FI is their hidden agenda. And then with their SITE, like I want to be independent, but it's hard. Okay, but then they pull it off so effortlessly. So I see them as like really capable people as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, part of the duty fulfilling thing is just, man, they have such good willpower. It's like, how do you do this? Like, once they stick to some sort of thing, whether it be like a routine or their personal method of doing something, they have a much easier time pushing whatever their current feelings are aside and just doing the thing that they set out to do. Like me, might be like distracted by like, I don't feel like doing it today, do it tomorrow.
Yeah, once they determine like what their preferences are and what modes of working or whatever like works best for them, then I think it's very easy for them just to like keep at it step by step by step.
Like they make really good incremental progress.
Yeah.
You just go to ISTJ, they're like 5 pages into a book, like writing a book or whatever, come back like a month later, they'd be done. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I picked up a new interest in the middle.
Yeah, so also the ISTJ can be super sentimental with the SI and FI combo. And I think this is a trait that's also attributed to INFPs, but probably like almost exclusively attributed to INFPs. And I think the ISTJs have this as well, but just maybe, you know, the INFPs have this NE exterior, so they fit that mold better, and the ISTJs have this TE exterior, so you wouldn't expect it from them. but they can be kind of soft and fuzzy on the inside.
Right, so I think of like SI as a connection to the past. And man, I mean, like, INFPs look all like happy and fuzzy, but then, like, no, the ISTJs are way more sentimental than me, you just don't see it.
Yeah.
So, we had that breakup video, right? Like, talking about past relationships. I'm like, oh. And then I know, like, some ISTJs, they remember their past partners with such fondness. Some of them, like, they don't, like, they just never get over that person. But, like, if they do get over them, like, man, such fondness. Yeah, which is kind of funny because I also think of the ISTJ as quite blunt very often, and without ever intending to be.
Yeah.
Like, they're just kind of stating, and they speak so quickly because of the SI and E, just like me, right? I like bouncing off, like saying objective observations of you, and some of them could be construed as offensive, but they're just like going down the list.
Yeah, so they have the FE blind spot along with INTJs, so it's like, they just, when they're in that TE mode of just like saying what is like observable and apparent to them, they might miss that FE realization of like, oh, maybe that would be offensive.
Yeah, it's like the INTJ might offend people by like not speaking to anyone, whereas the ISTJ is offensive by like saying too many TE observations that were unwelcome.
So for the INTJ, ISTJ socionics relations, we are called lookalikes, which is very true, probably. Maybe ENTJs and INTJs, like if we have kind of an ENTJ who doesn't talk that much, maybe we would look alike, but probably like in a social gathering, the IXTJs are going to be most similar.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are like perceiving dominance. I think the ENTJs, like tertiary SE, can be really boisterous sometimes.
That's true.
And make it not a look-alike. But yeah, ISTJ, INTJ, if they're like sitting around not speaking, it's really hard to tell the difference.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently for the look-alike relationship, we have similar methods or approaches to life and also similar communication style. So in that sense, we should be able to get kind of along well. And I think that is very true, that we do have similar approaches to things and very clearly a similar communication style, especially with the FE blind spot. But I feel like for 2Js, this may be like slightly problematic because, well, maybe more so on the INTJ side. I think ISTJs are probably able to kind of keep conversation going a little bit better. With higher SI, they probably just have more things to talk about. But I feel like maybe with ISTJs, it might be hard to kind of keep the conversation going. It might be hard for ISTJs and INTJs to know one another. They said there could be a large psychological kind of gap between them. And this is because their dominant function is part of the other person's like super ego block, which they feel kind of insecure about. I think that is kind of true. Like I do know some ISTJs, but I don't think I'm super close to like any ISTJs, even though like I respect them a lot and usually they're like cool. Like I don't know how to explain this, but like,
oh, that's so good.
But that's like so super
that's
ego.
like amazing that like newsflash INTJ says ISTJ is so cool.
Like yeah, I
like
just
breaks all the stereotypes.
But I think that's exactly like the super ego thing. I just see that the high SI.
I think the INTPs are cool. They're my like
yeah.
Right? Are they my yeah.
I don't know, just SI is so knowledgeable and articulate and it's like all the things that like I want to be but I'm not, so like I respect them and admire them a lot, but then sometimes it's hard to kind of communicate or get really intimate. But okay, yeah, since we share the same vulnerable function, or as we refer to the blind spot, which is FE, there might be that comfort around one another that we're not going to like accidentally offend one another. So I think that is true. I do feel like I can just drop the FE around ISTJs, and at least that there's that comfort with the relationship.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like me with the INTPs. I feel like, okay, they can be clumsy and ignore the external environment and reality together. Ignore reality.
And okay, the last one that I found interesting was that even though like it might be hard for us to get close, apparently it's also fairly not common for us to have arguments. And I think that's actually quite true. Like I do know several ISTJs, and like I don't think an ISTJ has ever like angered me or like annoyed me. I've never been like affronted by an ISTJ or been like, oh, how could they have done that to me or anything like that, when I probably felt that from a bunch of different other times.
That's so interesting. I've definitely felt like offended by ISTJs throughout the year. Mostly like more so when I was younger.
Yeah.
Just through what they say. Also because like I get really sensitive and stuff. So yeah, I guess the whole like FE blind spot thing really works.
Yeah.
Great. No, because I can just probably list like 5 offensive things that ISTJs have said to me. Anyway, we are activity partners. So apparently, like, the best way to do our relationship is like to go around doing things together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I have like probably 2 ISTJ friends. One girl I went shopping with when we were like really young, and it was amazing. Like, no, like I didn't buy anything, but it was the experience was amazing because her approach to it was so different from my approach. Well, maybe now it's a bit different, but when I was younger, just buy what feels like I like, oh, yeah, that one. But I just always remember this. She had like 2 shirts. She had a tank top and a t-shirt, and she wore them separately, and then she wore the tank top underneath the t-shirts, and then she wore the t-shirt underneath the tank top. So it was like 4 like she had to see how all 4 variations looked before committing to buying any one of the items. I was just like patiently standing there like watching her like try on the same things 4 times. I was like, oh. Yeah, I got really impatient, but I was like, that is so interesting. Yeah, and then the other thing was this guy was doing this YouTube channel. Yeah, like my friend in Toronto, he was like doing this YouTube channel, and then he was like, Calypso, you've been doing this for like years. Give me some advice. The way that he does it is so different. Like everything is measured, like everything is calculated and measured. I guess you do it too with your TE, but it's more like you think of the overall arching future of our channel, but he's like, okay, like revenue, like exactly how many dollars am I gonna get by this date, and then let me draw a graph, let me do a spreadsheet. And then he also does this thing where he leaves like 50 default template comments on other people's channels, which I would never do because that offends my FI so much. Just like, how could you do that? But yeah, just the way that we approach it is so different. I feel like I learned so much from that. I might not like apply what I learned because I disagree with it, but I still learned so much from them.
That's so interesting. I think I remember on my activity partner thing with the ISFP that it said that like you like don't understand each other, both because it's like your lower functions, but then it's alternate perceiving versus judging, right? Like you're a lead judger, they're a lead perceiver, so it's like you're often baffled by like the littlest, simplest things they do, and it sounds like that's true.
Yeah, the other thing is, holy cow, like how surprising how unjudgmental they are. Which, I mean, not that like if you're a lead, like judgment in MBTI doesn't have to do with how judgmental you are, but just like a side note, like, because I feel like the stereotype for all SJs would be that they're really judgmental. Like, they judge you if you have, like, differing values or whatever. But holy, they're so accepting. Cannot believe how accepting ISTJs are to alternate, like, lifestyle forms. Which is so interesting because their dual is supposed to be ENFP, right? Their ideal partner is supposed to be ENFP. I feel like the ENFP is probably indulging in all sorts of alternative behaviors that the ISTJ can just accept.
Right.
Sometimes I can just say the craziest things and don't even bat an eye. It's like, oh, wow. Oh, I feel so, like, free and comfortable around you.
Oh, that's cool. All right, guys. So let us know what you think of ISTJs and what your socionics relationship with them is. And ISTJs, let us know what you think of us. And if you agree with, like, the types of relationships you have with INTJs or INFPs.
Yeah, let us know, like, what stereotypes about ISTJs you, like, disagree with. Because there's so many stereotypes about ISTJs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We offer typing services, so if you'd like to be typed via microexpressions, you can check that out. We'll link it below. You can also check out our Patreon page, and losing a few.
You should just leave that in, like, oh, losing a few.
And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.